What's going on, Z Warriors? Mr. Waffles here, and we're here. I'm spectating this time. I'm not actually playing. Between It Must Be Snow and Nacho Obvious. So we have Nacho Obvious who's playing Blue Vegeta, and Must Be Snow who's playing Black Goku, Black Super Saiyan God Goku. So um, we'll see how this matchup turns out. I really like Blue Vegeta. I actually wanted to be my main deck. Um, Once I saw like the blue cards and the amount of anger cards that blue actually got. But then Wall Breaker came out, and I was just like, I'll just be stuck on one forever. So kind of scrapped that idea. But I really like blue as a style, and to mix it up with villains because you have villainous empowerment to get mental drill or overpowering drill, like cool stuff like that. So if I can find a real good solution to Wall Breaker, um, I'll try it. But if I get it Wall Breaker first turn, I can't really do anything. So these two just so far just passed. God Goku Black is pretty awesome because of Smoothness Drill, so you have 6 cards pretty much every turn, so that's always good. And Black actually got some really good physical beatdown cards. I think Black Overpowering. I think it's a physical like +6 that you can't play any more physical. Yeah, this card right here, Overpowering Attack. Yeah, so you can imagine in God Goku how strong that's going to be hitting for. So as you can see, seems like it's a blue ball control kind of deck, just like Turtle in to just get all 7 Dragon Balls. And I'm just curious why he chose Vegeta as his main personality, um, since I don't see the synergy with Vegeta and Balls in terms of keeping them. No, it's obvious that Krillin would be like the MP for this kind of deck. I'm just curious to see why he chose Vegeta. So you'll see me, depending whose turn it is, just go to that person's, um, just click on their name so that way you can see what they have in their discard pile. Again, I can't see the hand, so I wouldn't really understand the plays that they make. I could only just assume, which is not always the best, but it's the best that I can pretty much do. I also want to just give some shout outs to Dragon Ball Radio as well as DBZ Foils. So make sure that you check out Dragon Ball Radio on Speaker and follow them if you haven't. They have really good discussion topics and a lot of insight to the game. So if you just want to have like a nice listen about something Dragon Ball related, it's definitely the channel to go to, or the station I should say. And Dragon Ball Foils for awesome foils. They do a good job making custom cards as well. So be on the lookout for that. So God Goku plays a Black Fistlock, which is pretty beefy itself and has Endurance 3, and Vegeta blockades it. Now, with Vegeta, he can, with the radar, get Dragon Ball 6 to reduce some damage. I'm not sure if he's planning to do that anytime soon. And he has a blue trick just to keep um, keep his opponent in check, to know that whatever Dragon Ball they do capture, it's going to come right back to him. So he masteries discarding. Now it's not a blue so style card, so he can't raise or lower the anger, but he can still at least stop it, which is really good. Ooh, Dragon Ball 3. I guess his hand is pretty bad. Where he might need to kind of refix his hand a bit. So he puts back Reprimand and Dragon Ball 1, which he can kind of keep doing this little combo by, Reprimand, get back 7, and just kind of mill his opponent out that way. And it works really well if he has time. So he black scouts for Blue Betrayal. Is he playing it? Who knows? I would assume he would, just to get rid of problematic cards. So he plays a blue Arm Blast, so I guess he feels pretty safe to have to play an attack, knowing that that can be used as a defense for a physical attack. So I would assume by him playing this that he does have a card to stop a physical attack. Yep. So he had another card to stop something. So he has a Dragon Ball in hand and an unknown card. Ooh, that's cool. So I can see why he's playing a villain deck because of Face Smash. So it's to capture Dragon Ball, so it's good against Namekian. And I can see that. That's pretty cool. Definitely innovative. Props to him for that. So it gets back the Reprimand to cycle in a physical or energy, a physical stop or energy attack. So, make sure he keeps his defenses up. So essentially, he has two stop physicals because he can just use that for his card effect and use that for the mastery. So just to be safe, he's safeguarding his future plays, which is really good. And again, which is really cool because you have the Doria. So again, if there's a Dragon Ball in the field, just capture it. So I really like this deck idea. It seems like it can flow really nicely. I think the only problem it would have is with a black Krillin deck. Pardon me, pardon me. So Snow decides to enter. So we're gonna see what he leads in with, which will make sense because he knows what he has. So he black powers up to end the combat. Now I'm not sure if I would have done that. I mean, I would have tried to maybe bait some of the cards out as much as possible, just because he's probably going to keep the reprimand in hand anyways. But I guess in doing so, it forces um, the Blue Vegeta player to keep a Dragon Ball on his turn. So, but that's if Vegeta decides to enter, because I assume that he's going to keep the reprimand no matter what, and he doesn't have to enter. He can just sit there because he's playing Dragon Balls, so he can just sit there and just stack Dragon Balls all day and just always force the Goku player to enter. So it's 40 to 38. So right now the Blue Vegeta player is leading a bit because Snow has to draw 3. So he rejuvenates the reprimand, which is smart because Snow knows that he has like what he put on top of his deck because of Dragon Ball 7. So by him rejuvenating the reprimand, it keeps the card that he has in his hand unknown now, as opposed to knowing that, oh, you didn't discard reprimand, I know you have it in your hand, so that's one less attack you have. So Snow leads off with Goku, which you got to make sure when you use Goku. A lot of people really don't know how to use this card properly. Um, I feel that I'm not saying that he's using it wrongly. You just got to make sure that when you use this card to capitalize on it, like the extra drawer is nice, and with black you can toss any card, but at the same time you're also giving up 2 life cards. So you got to make sure that you can dish out the damage. Usually I don't use his effect um, unless I feel like I need to. Otherwise, I just try to just hold as much as I can with using the cards I have. And if my opponent has 0 cards and I have 0 cards, then I'll probably use Goku. Because the card that you get is random, so it's not always gonna help you. You can draw like a setup or something useless as well. So you really got to make sure if you're playing this card just to not use them sparingly every chance that you get just because you can get an extra card, because that can kind of cost you in the end. So Nacho reprimands to get back Dragon Ball 7, and it seems like this is probably going to hit. Which is a good thing for allies, they can just um, take the stages. So I mean, I can tell you how many times when I'm playing God Goku and the mirror match, and they use his power, and I kind of hold off, and sometimes those two life cards can make a big difference. You know, they just use it every chance they get, and you know, not all the time you're gonna draw an attack. You know, you could draw a block, and it's or a setup or something like that, or a Dragon Ball. So again, just make sure you use this card with caution. Don't use it just to use it. So now he uses the Mastery, which he knows that he has a Dragon Ball in hand, so it forces either the blue player to discard a Dragon Ball or something else, which in this case was Blockade, and he passes. So he used Goku's power, but he didn't really get anywhere in a sense. So I guess he just milled for the Dragon Ball already, knowing that he's gonna play it. Dragon Ball 7 comes down again, and Black doesn't really have efficient ways to deal with crit, like to deal critical damage to like capture Dragon Ball or anything like that. That's why Black Krillin is so good, because it makes up for that factor that Black can't really deal with in terms of just using a card that can just do a critical damage effect. They have a lot of high attack and powerful cards, and of course they need a hit. And when they do, it will most likely be crit, but nothing just secondary use a critical damage effect. And the only card I think that actually does have it is actually a hit, where it's in set two, and it's an energy attack that costs 3, raise your anger 2, and if it hits, you can discard a card from your hand to use a critical damage effect. Other than that, they don't really have any one card that just says use a critical damage effect. So in order for anything other than Krillin to, and Piccolo I should say, to really utilize critical damage, they have to beat through and force their way through it. Oh, so Nacho decides to enter, which is pretty brave. I'm not sure if he has a card to end combat. I don't know what his plan is. So again, I can't see his hand. I guess he's thinking whether he's visiting or not. So he gets an extra attack, which is nice. Which he will definitely need. And he just passes. Yes, that's what I would do too. Force the visiting and let your opponent commit to you. Otherwise, they just burn their visiting. That's why I don't really think this card is like staple. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, but he just burned their visiting out of just by passing. Just enter pass and then force your opponent to commit to you. That's what I do all the time when my opponent has visiting. Just enter pass. So he gives up a time, which is, again, I don't know his hand, so maybe he has a plan. So Snow decides to enter. Reflection comes down, probably for Blue Betrayal to get to banish this. Yep. Stare down comes down hard. So now, by him not discarding the overpowering attack, I believe, it forces one of two things. One, forces Goku, if he didn't play this, to use his power to maybe get a physical attack, to play that, then play this, or for him to use this. So he reprimands again for ball 7, and he can't play any more physical attacks for remainder of combat. So here he's just gonna probably ball 7 for time, reprimand, and another card. So Snow scoops. And he has a loop, so yeah, so that's game. Nacho wins by just looping looping DB7 with this. It's quite annoying. Again, if you're not playing Krillin, it's going to be harder for you to deal with crit and black. So that's why Black Krillin is one of the top decks. In set 2, I think it only got stronger. I don't think there's anything that like actually hurt it. It got access to Wall Breaker because one, it doesn't care if it gets Wall Breaker, and since Black doesn't really have efficient ways of dealing with anger, Wall Breaker will just solve that, and Black got a pretty good amount of endurance cards, and Black Declaration allows us to control the board even further. So makes Black Krillin a pretty disgusting threat. Yeah. So hope you guys enjoyed the segment of Training Room. Again, I'm just spectating just to watch, and it's cool to be on the other end just to see people play. And again, if you want to face me, name's Mr. Waffles, and I'm always down to play. If there's any deck that you want me to try out or want to see, just let me know in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Mr. Waffles out.